The music and laughter you hear today echoes celebrations from thousands of years ago. We are about to travel across the globe and through time to witness 30 ancient festivals that are still alive. You will discover the direct, unbroken line connecting our modern parties to the rituals of our deepest past. How did a wild Roman holiday of role reversal become part of our Christmas? Why do we dress in costumes for a night that once welcomed the dead? This journey reveals how our shared need for celebration is a powerful, timeless force. What is the oldest tradition you feel still connects us to our ancestors? Our journey begins not with silent reverence, but with raucous, joyful noise in the heart of ancient Rome. The festival was Saturnalia, a week-long celebration in honor of Saturn, the god of agriculture and time. From as early as 217 BC, the entire social order of Rome was turned upside down. For these few precious days in December, masters would serve meals to their slaves, and slaves were free to speak their minds without fear of punishment. A king of misrule was elected from among the commoners, a mock monarch whose absurd and chaotic decrees everyone had to obey. The city echoed with the cheerful shout, Io Saturnalia. Gifts were exchanged, not grand or expensive items, but symbolic ones like candles to push back the winter darkness and small clay dolls known as sigillaria. The streets were filled with feasting, gambling, and a general sense of merriment that suspended the rigid rules of everyday life. It was a necessary pressure valve for society, a sanctioned period of chaos that ultimately reinforced the social order once it ended. But what happened to this vibrant, popular festival when a new religion, Christianity, began to spread across the empire? The old traditions were too beloved to simply erase. So the Church, in a brilliant act of cultural absorption, placed the celebration of the birth of Christ right in the middle of this existing festive season. The gift-giving, the festive decorations, the emphasis on light and joy, even the timing of our modern Christmas, all of these elements carry the unmistakable, boisterous echo of Saturnalia. The wild Roman party never truly ended, it was simply given a new name. While the Romans were toasting their slaves, a much darker transition was unfolding in the cold mists of ancient Ireland. Here, the Celts celebrated Samhain, a festival that marked the critical turning point of the year. It was the end of the harvest and the official beginning of the darker half, a time when the boundary between our world and the world of spirits became dangerously thin. On the night of October 31st, the veil was believed to be so fragile that the dead could walk freely among the living. This was not a time for fear, but for cautious respect. To light the way for benevolent ancestral spirits and to frighten away any malevolent entities, the Celts built massive, sacred bonfires. They left out plates of food and offerings of drink to appease the ghosts visiting their old homes. And in a stroke of genius, they began the tradition of dressing in disguises, not for fun, but as a vital survival tactic. By wearing masks and costumes made of animal skins, they hoped to blend in with the wandering spirits and the mischievous fae folk, avoiding being kidnapped or led astray. Can you feel the echoes of this 2,000-year-old night in our own Halloween? Those glowing jack-o'-lanterns are the descendants of those protective bonfires. The custom of trick-or-treating evolved directly from the medieval practice of souling, where the poor would go door to door on All Souls' Day, offering prayers for the dead in exchange for soul cakes. And our wild array of costumes, from scary ghosts to pop culture icons, all started as a simple, desperate attempt to hide from the things that went bump in the night. The ancient Celts were not just throwing a party, they were navigating a night they believed was filled with real magic and real danger. High in the Andes, the Inca Empire faced a problem far more terrifying than any ghost. The sun, their life-giving god in Thai, was beginning its long retreat into the winter sky. In the 15th century, the great Sapa Inca Pachacuti established a solution, a festival of such profound power and spectacle that it was designed to call the sun back from the edge of oblivion. This was Inti Raymi, the Festival of the Sun. The ceremony in the capital city of Cusco was a state-sponsored marvel of precision and devotion. The entire Inca nobility, priests and officials would gather in the main plaza, a sea of vibrant textiles and brilliant gold ornaments. At the heart of the ritual were the mummified bodies of past Incas, brought out from their temples to witness the proceedings and lend their ancestral power to the plea. The high priest would make the ultimate offering to Inti, a sacrifice of a perfectly formed llama, its entrails reed for omens that would predict the fortunes of the coming harvest. This was accompanied by the pouring of vast quantities of chicha, a sacred corn beer, into a golden channel that flowed directly into the Temple of the Sun, a liquid gift to the deity. The Spanish conquest brought a violent end to this public worship. The colonizers saw its deep cultural power and banned it outright, forcing the tradition into secrecy for centuries. But you cannot extinguish a sun god so easily. In the 1940s, a Quechua actor and intellectual spearheaded a revival, not as a secret rite, but as a magnificent theatrical reenactment. Every June 24th, on the Southern Hemisphere's winter solstice, the ancient stones of Cusco once again thrum with the footsteps of thousands. Actors in elaborate costumes portraying the Sapa Inca and his court performed the ceremony for a massive audience, speaking in the original Quechua language. The llama sacrifice is now symbolic, but the grandeur, the music, and the collective hope for the sun's return are as real as they were 500 years ago. It is a living, breathing act of cultural reclamation, proving that a tradition can be driven underground, but if its roots are deep enough, it will always find its way back to the light. As the sun is called back in the Andes, another ancient tradition marks its return with the precise balance of light and dark. Nowruz, the Persian New Year, translates simply as New Day, a celebration of rebirth tied to the spring equinox. Its roots stretch back over 3,000 years to the Zoroastrian communities of the Fertile Crescent, a faith that revered the elements and saw the world as a constant battle between light and darkness. The equinox, when day and night are perfectly equal, was a powerful symbol of this balance and the ultimate victory of light. The preparation for this new beginning begins with a ritual known as Kone te Kone, which literally means shaking the house. It is a profound act of spring cleaning where every corner of the home is thoroughly cleansed, not just of dust but of the old year's stagnant energy. This physical purification makes space for the fresh blessings to come. The heart of the celebration, however, is the Haft-Seen table. This is a beautiful altar set with 7 specific items, each one beginning with the Persian letter Sin or S, and each representing a profound hope for the year ahead. There is sabze, sprouted wheat or lentils, symbolizing rebirth and new growth. Senged, the dried fruit of the Olaster tree, represents love. Sia, or garlic, stands for medicine and health. Semonyu, a sweet pudding made from wheat germ, signifies affluence and power. Somag, sumac berries, represent the color of sunrise and the victory of light over darkness. Sirke, vinegar, symbolizes the patience and wisdom that comes with age. And finally, there is Sib, an apple, for health and beauty. Around these core 7, families place other symbolic items like mirrors, goldfish, and painted eggs, creating a stunning visual feast of hope. Today, this ancient Zoroastrian festival is celebrated by more than 300 million people across Iran, Afghanistan, Central Asia, and the diaspora. The celebrations last for 13 days and are filled with vibrant customs. On the last Wednesday of the old year, people leap over small bonfires, a ritual where they sing, "Let my sickness be yours and my health be mine," passing the symbolic darkness of the old year through the flames. The streets come alive with the sound of drums and the appearance of Haji Firuz, a jovial character with a soot-blackened face and bright red clothes, who sings and dances to spread public joy. The holiday culminates in a massive picnic on the 13th day, where families spend the entire day outdoors, believing it is bad luck to remain at home. This act of throwing the sabze, the sprouts from the half-seen table, into a flowing stream completes the cycle, returning the symbol of new life to nature and ensuring a prosperous year. Nowruz is not merely a New Year's party, it is a 13-day-long poem dedicated to renewal, a living tradition that has woven its ancient symbolism into the fabric of modern life for millions. This vibrant celebration of life stands in beautiful defiance of our usual fear of death. Far from a somber memorial, Dia de los Muertos is a joyous, colorful reunion, a time when families lovingly welcome back the souls of their departed. Its heart beats with an ancient rhythm, one that predates the Spanish arrival by centuries. The Aztecs and other Mesoamerican peoples did not view death as an end, but as a natural continuation of existence. They dedicated an entire month of their calendar to a festival honoring Mictlantecuhtli, the powerful goddess known as the Lady of the Dead. She ruled over the afterlife, watching over the bones of the deceased and presiding over these ancient festivities. For these cultures, the dead were not gone, they were simply living in another realm, and they were welcomed back as annual visitors. When Spanish colonizers arrived, they brought with them the Catholic holidays of All Saints' Day and All Souls' Day, falling on November 1st and 2nd. In a classic example of cultural fusion, the indigenous traditions and the imposed Catholic calendar merged. The month-long festival was condensed into these 2 days, but its core spirit was never broken. It transformed, syncretized, but never lost its essential joy. The most profound expression of this celebration is the ofrenda, the home altar built to honor those who have passed. These are not monuments of mourning, but tables of welcome, lavishly decorated to entice the spirits home. Paths of vibrant marigold petals, known as cempasúchil, are carefully laid from the street to the altar. Their brilliant orange color and potent scent are believed to guide the wandering souls, acting as a fragrant beacon in the spirit world. The ofrenda itself is a feast for the senses. It is laden with the favorite foods and drinks of the departed, a glass of water to quench their thirst after the long journey, and perhaps a shot of tequila for a beloved grandfather. Photographs and personal possessions are placed among flickering candles and whimsical calaveras, the decorative sugar skulls that bear the names of the dead. It is a deeply personal and heartfelt offering, a way for the living to say, "We remember you, we love you, and your place in our family remains." While its iconic imagery has gained global recognition, appearing in films and festivals worldwide, Dia de los Muertos remains a deeply rooted family tradition in Mexico. Cemeteries come alive at night, not with silence, but with music, stories, and shared meals enjoyed right beside the gravestones. It is a powerful, generations-old conversation between the living and the dead, a testament to a culture that chooses to greet death not with a whimper, but with a marigold-strewn path and a celebratory feast. That vibrant celebration of color and life could only be holy. From the ancient lands of India comes a festival that feels like pure, unadulterated joy made visible. Its story begins not with a party, but with a prince and a pyre. In the timeless Hindu texts, a devout young prince named Prahlad remained faithful to the god Vishnu, defying his own father, the arrogant king Hiranyakashipu. The king's sister, Holika, possessed a magical cloak that made her immune to fire. She tricked Prahlad into sitting with her in a blazing inferno, confident the boy would be consumed. But divine intervention flipped the script. The protective cloak flew from Holika and wrapped around Prahlad instead. She burned, and he emerged unscathed. This legend of good triumphing over evil is physically reenacted every year on the night before Holi in a ritual known as Holika Dahan. Communities gather around a large bonfire, throwing in symbolic items to burn away negativity, hubris, and past mistakes, just as Holika was consumed. The air crackles with the heat of the flames and the collective hope for a fresh start, but the next morning that solemnity erupts into a riot of color. The main event is a city-wide, nationwide free-for-all. Streets and towns transform into a living canvas of pinks, blues, yellows, and greens. People take to the streets armed with gulal, brightly colored powder, and buckets of water, dousing friends, family, and total strangers alike. Laughter rings out as faces become unrecognizable under layers of pigment. The origin of this colorful chaos is traced to the divine love of Lord Krishna, a Hindu deity often depicted with blue skin. Legend says the young, mischievous Krishna playfully complained to his mother about why his beloved Radha was so fair while he was so dark. His mother, teasing him, suggested he could color Radha's face any way he liked. This sparked the tradition of applying color, turning a moment of playful affection into a massive public celebration. The social impact is immediate and profound. For this one day, the rigid structures of class, age, and status dissolve. A CEO and a clerk, an elder and a child, all stand on the same level, all equally drenched in the same brilliant hues. You cannot tell who is rich or poor, friend or stranger. Everyone is equal under the rainbow. This ancient spring harvest festival has now exploded across the globe. From massive organized events in major cities to spontaneous color fights in local parks, the world has embraced Holi's core message of joy, forgiveness, and friendship. Yet, no matter how far it travels, its heart remains firmly planted in that ancient story of a prince saved by faith and a god who loved to play. The explosive colors of Holi give way to a gentler, more contemplative light in Japan. There, during the humid days of midsummer, the air itself seems to change, charged with a quiet, expectant energy. This is the time of Obon, a Japanese Buddhist festival that transforms the entire nation into a place of homecoming. For over 500 years, this three-day event has been dedicated to a single, beautiful belief that the spirits of one's ancestors return to visit the world of the living. The preparation is an act of profound respect. Families journey to ancestral grave sites, carefully cleaning the tombstones and leaving fresh flowers and offerings. At home, the Butsudan, the household Buddhist altar, becomes the focal point. It is cleaned meticulously and adorned with special food offerings, beautiful seasonal fruits, and steaming bowls of rice, all laid out to welcome back the spirits of loved ones. The atmosphere is not one of mourning, but of serene anticipation, as if setting the table for the most honored of guests. The peak of the welcome comes with the Bon Odori, the traditional folk dances held in towns and villages across the country. As dusk falls, communities gather in a public square or park, often around a tall, wooden stage called a yagura. The music begins, a rhythmic, hypnotic beat, and people of all ages form concentric circles and begin to dance. The movements are simple, flowing, and repetitive, mimicking the gestures of planting rice or other aspects of daily life from centuries past. These are not performances for an audience, they are participatory acts of joy and remembrance, a way to entertain and delight the visiting spirits. The entire scene is a mesmerizing spectacle of unity, a living tapestry of generations moving together under the summer sky. Then, as the visit draws to a close, the festival culminates in its most iconic and visually stunning ritual, Toro Nagashi. As night deepens, people line the banks of rivers, lakes, and harbors. Small paper lanterns, each one lit by a single candle flame, are carefully placed upon the water. They drift away from the shore one by one at first, and then in a glowing, silent flotilla, their lights flickering and dancing on the dark surface of the water. Each lantern is meant to guide a spirit back to its realm, a luminous pathway leading home. Watching that procession of fragile, floating lights is to witness a collective act of love and letting go. In modern Japan, where life moves at a frantic pace, Obon remains a powerful anchor. It is one of the busiest travel periods of the year, as millions of people return to their hometowns, not just for a vacation, but for this specific spiritual reunion. The festival adapts, with some city neighborhoods hosting modern pop music bond dances, yet its core purpose is unwavering. It is a time to physically and emotionally reconnect with family, both living and departed, ensuring that the bonds between generations are never broken. It is a gentle, luminous reminder that those we love are never truly gone. They are simply waiting for the lanterns to be lit. The gentle glow of Japanese lanterns guiding spirits home gives way to a celebration of a far more boisterous homecoming. In Thailand, the heat of April builds to an almost unbearable intensity, a signal for the arrival of Songkran. This Thai New Year festival begins with a name that reveals its ancient cosmic origins. Songkran comes from a Sanskrit word meaning astrological passage, marking the moment the sun moves into the constellation of Aries. Its roots are not originally Buddhist but stem from a much older Brahmanical sun ceremony, a ritual of celestial timing that was later gracefully woven into the fabric of Thai Buddhist culture. The heart of the traditional celebration was a quiet, intimate act of respect. Younger family members would gently pour bowls of scented water over the hands of their elders and parents, washing away the past year's troubles and receiving blessings for the year ahead. This same reverent water was used to bathe Buddha statues in temples, a symbolic act of purification for both the sacred icons and the community's collective spirit. The water was not just for cleaning, it was a liquid vessel for honor, gratitude, and spiritual renewal. But from this serene beginning, something truly extraordinary has evolved. That small, respectful bowl of water has transformed into the world's largest water fight. For several days each April, the entire country becomes a playful, soaking wet battleground. Major city streets are closed to traffic and become rivers of revelry. Everyone is a target and everyone is armed. People line the roads with buckets, water guns, and hoses, dousing passing pedestrians, motorcycles, and cars with relentless joy. Ice is often added to the water, delivering a shocking, squeal-inducing chill that only adds to the collective laughter. What seems like chaotic fun is deeply symbolic. Every splash, every soaking is still an act of washing away. It is believed that this deluge of water cleanses a person of all the bad luck and misfortune accumulated over the previous 12 months, allowing them to enter the new year pure and refreshed. Amidst this incredible aquatic chaos, the spiritual core of Songkran remains unshaken. The mornings of the festival still see Thais dressed in their finest clothes, visiting local temples to make merit by offering food to monks and praying. They still perform the gentle ritual of pouring scented water over the hands of their beloved elders. The modern water fight does not replace the ancient tradition, it amplifies it, turning a private blessing into a public, national baptism. It is a rare festival that holds its sacred stillness and its explosive celebration in perfect, drenched balance. Just as the Celts feared the thinning veil at Samhain, they celebrated its opposite 6 months later. With the arrival of May 1st, they welcomed Beltane, a brilliant festival of fire and fertility that heralded the start of the pastoral summer. This was a time of potent, life-giving energy, when the world was bursting into bloom and the community's focus turned to the vitality of their flocks and fields. The most crucial ritual involved fire, the ultimate purifying force. 2 massive bonfires, known as need fires, were lit from sacred woods. The entire community would then drive their valuable cattle between these twin pillars of flame. The smoke and heat were believed to cleanse the animals of the diseases of winter and shield them from any illness or malevolent spirits during the crucial summer grazing months. It was a practical and spiritual act of protection, securing the tribe's most vital assets for the season of abundance. But fertility was not just for the livestock. The human celebration of life and growth was embodied in the maypole, a towering central pole adorned with vibrant ribbons and garlands of fresh flowers. This was a powerful phallic symbol representing the masculine energy of the earth. Villagers, especially the young and unmarried, would dance around it, each holding the end of a ribbon. As they wove in and out in a complex pattern, they created a beautiful braided sheath around the pole, a symbolic union of the masculine and feminine that was believed to encourage the Earth's own fruitfulness. The entire world was seen as alive with invisible forces. People left out offerings of milk and sweet bread for the Fae folk, the powerful and often unpredictable spirits of nature, hoping to secure their favor for a bountiful season. This was also the domain of the Green Man, an ancient pagan figure of rebirth, his face made entirely of leaves and vines, who symbolized the untamed, wild spirit of the forest coming into full power. While the arrival of Christianity suppressed the old pagan rites, the spirit of Beltane was never fully extinguished. Today, it has experienced a powerful revival, particularly within neo-pagan and Wiccan communities who honor the day as one of the 8 major Sabbats on the Wheel of the Year. They recreate the bonfires and maypole dances, consciously connecting to these ancient Celtic roots, and its secular echo is unmistakable in our modern May Day celebrations. The cheerful maypole dances in schoolyards and village greens, the crowning of a May Queen, and the general joy of spring festivities are all direct, if softened, descendants of that vibrant, primal celebration of life, fire, and the fertile earth awakening. While the fires of Beltane celebrated the land's fertility, another festival was taking shape in the fertile plains of Punjab, one that would weave together the joy of harvest with the birth of a spiritual revolution. This is Vaisakhi, a celebration with a powerful dual soul. Its oldest roots are purely agricultural, a time when farming communities rejoiced at the successful reaping of the winter crop, the Rabi harvest. The fields, heavy with golden wheat, represented prosperity and survival. The air filled with the thunderous, energetic beats of the Dihol drum, and communities erupted into the celebratory folk dance of Bhangra, its powerful kicks and leaps mimicking the actions of sowing, growing, and harvesting. It was a festival of pure, earthly gratitude, marked by vibrant fairs and a shared sense of accomplishment. But in the year 1699, this harvest festival was forever transformed, imbued with a spiritual significance that would echo for centuries. On that pivotal day, the 10th Sikh Guru, Guru Gobind Singh, stood before a massive gathering of thousands. He asked for a volunteer willing to offer his head for his faith. After a tense silence, one man stepped forward and followed the Guru into a tent. The Guru returned alone, his sword dripping with blood. He asked for another volunteer, and then another, until 5 men, who would become known as the Panj Pyre or the Beloved Five, had made the ultimate symbolic sacrifice. To the astonishment of the crowd, all 5 men then emerged unharmed. The Guru had tested their faith and created something entirely new. He baptized these 5 with a ceremonial nectar known as Amrit, formally establishing the Khalsa Panth, the collective body of initiated Sikhs. This was the moment Sikhism was crystallized into its modern form, with a clear identity and a code of conduct that emphasized equality, justice, and devotion. From that day forward, Vaisakhi was no longer just a harvest festival. It became the most sacred day in the Sikh calendar, a celebration of spiritual rebirth. Today, the celebration is a magnificent fusion of both these histories. Sikhs around the world mark the day with early morning prayers at gurdwaras, their places of worship. The streets then explode in color and devotion during Nagar Kirtan, massive street processions that can stretch for miles. The air vibrates with the continuous chanting of sacred hymns, the rhythmic beat of drums, and the sight of the Nishan Sahib, the Sikh flag held high. Participants perform martial arts displays and distribute free food and drink to all, regardless of background. At the heart of this celebration lies the langar, the community kitchen where a free meal is served to everyone, a powerful practice of equality and selfless service that embodies the very principles Guru Gobind Singh established. Vaisakhi stands as a stunning example of how a tradition can evolve, layering a profound spiritual awakening over an ancient celebration of the earth, creating a holiday that feeds both the body and the soul. While men were excluded from the public celebrations in Athens, they would have noticed a profound silence from half the population. For 3 days each autumn, the women of the city vanished from their homes, establishing their own autonomous community in a hillside sanctuary dedicated to Demeter. This was the Thesmophoria, a festival of such power and secrecy that any man who dared to spy on its rites could be punished by death. Its purpose was nothing less than the survival of the city-state, an appeal to the goddess of the harvest to bless the coming planting season. The entire ritual reenacted the central myth of Demeter and her daughter, Persephone, who was abducted into the underworld. The goddess's grief plunged the world into barren winter, and her joy at their reunion each year brought back the spring. The women, in their festival, became living conduits for this divine drama. Their actions meant to coax life from the seemingly dead earth. The first day was called Anodos, the ascent. The women set up their temporary shelters on the Thesmophorian hillside, creating a city within a city governed entirely by their own rules. The second day, the Nesteia, was a day of profound fasting and mourning. They sat on the ground, emulating Demeter's sorrow, refusing all sustenance as a symbolic solidarity with the barren earth. But then, on the third day, the mood shattered. This was the Kalaigeneia, the day of fair birth. The fasting broke and the air filled with astrologia, a ritualized practice of shouting obscenities and crude jokes. This was not random vulgarity, it was a powerful magical act. By using the language of fertility and reproduction, they believed they were stimulating the Earth's own creative forces, shocking it back into productivity. The most secret and potent ritual, however, involved the humble pig. Months or even years before the festival, piglets, animals sacred to Demeter because they root in the earth, were thrown into deep, snake-infested underground chambers called megara. There they were left to decay, their remains merging with the soil. During the Thesmophoria, a select group of women who had purified themselves for days descended into these sacred chasms. They retrieved the decomposed remains of the pigs and placed them on altars. Later, this potent, sacred compost was carefully mixed with the year's seed grain before planting, a direct blessing from the goddess herself, transferring the life force from the dead animal to the future crop. The festival itself faded with the rise of Christianity, but its spirit never truly died. The idea of women gathering in solidarity, separate from the male world, to share in rituals of empowerment and to connect with the cycles of nature, echoes in countless forms today. From spiritual retreats to political organizations, the legacy of the Thesmophoria lives on, not in the decayed remains of piglets, but in the enduring power of women creating sacred space for themselves. That circle of women dancing under the moon echoes a similar celebration of gratitude happening on the Korean peninsula. Chuseok is often called the Korean Thanksgiving, but that label barely scratches the surface of this holiday's profound depth. Its history stretches back over 2,000 years to the ancient kingdom of Silla, where a weaving contest between two teams of princesses, lasting an entire month from the 15th of August to the 15th of September, culminated in a grand feast of Thanksgiving. The winning team, judged by the beauty and volume of their woven cloth, was treated to a magnificent banquet by the losing side. This ancient competition is believed to be the seed from which the modern Chuseok grew, a celebration intrinsically tied to the harvest moon, the largest and brightest full moon of the year in the lunar calendar. This is not just a harvest festival, it is a national homecoming that hinges on the veneration of ancestors. For days leading up to Chuseok, the entire country is in motion. This mass exodus of people traveling back to their ancestral hometowns creates one of the largest annual human migrations on the planet, rivaling China's Lunar New Year travel. Highways become parking lots and trains are booked solid for months in advance as millions of Koreans undertake this pilgrimage of family duty. The heart of the celebration beats in the family home and the ancestral graves. The preparation begins with charai, the formal ancestor memorial rite. Families carefully arrange a table laden with an elaborate feast. There is freshly harvested rice, savory meats, an array of vibrant fruits, and the most iconic of all Chuseok foods, songpyeon. These are small, beautiful half-moon-shaped rice cakes, meticulously hand-shaped and filled with sweet or savory ingredients like sesame seeds, honey, or red beans. Their crescent shape is deeply symbolic, representing the hope for a bright future and, according to legend, a promise of having a beautiful baby. After the ritual offering is made to the ancestors, the living family members sit down together to share this same meal, symbolically dining with those who came before them. This physical connection continues with Seongmyo, the visit to the ancestral graves. The entire family travels to the burial mounds not for a somber vigil but for an act of loving maintenance. They carefully clear the grave sites of summer weeds, tidy the earth, and then offer food, drink, and deep bows of respect. It is a powerful, tangible act of remembrance, a way to honor the lineage that made their lives possible. But Chuseok is not all solemn ritual. The holiday is filled with joyous folk games that connect the present to the past. As night falls and the harvest moon rises, you might see circles of women, hands linked, performing the Gangangsuli dance. They move in a circle, singing and spinning under the moonlight, a beautiful, hypnotic tradition that dates back centuries. For the more competitively inclined, there is Esiram, a traditional form of wrestling where two opponents grapple, each holding a satba belt tied around the waist and thigh. The goal is to force any part of the opponent's body above the knee to touch the ground. Village competitions create fierce but friendly rivalries, with the winner often taking home a bull or other valuable prize. In a modern, fast-paced South Korea, Chuseok remains the most important holiday of the year. It is a powerful, non-negotiable anchor to family and heritage, a time when the entire nation pauses to look back with gratitude, ensuring that the chain of memory, from the ancient weavers of Silla to the bustling cities of today, remains unbroken. While the women of Athens celebrated the return of spring, a very different kind of night was taking shape in the dark, dense forests of ancient Germania. As the last day of April gave way to May Eve, a palpable tension gripped the communities. This was Walpurgisnacht, a time when the boundary between the human world and the realm of spirits and witches was believed to be at its thinnest. Long before it carried a saint's name, this was a vital pagan spring festival. Germanic tribes saw the changing season not just as a time of growth, but as a moment of profound vulnerability. To protect themselves and their livestock from the malevolent entities set loose in the world, they built massive, roaring bonfires on hilltops. The flames and smoke were a powerful, visible shield, a purifying force meant to drive back the dark and any evil that clung to the retreating winter. The noise of shouting and the clanging of pots and weapons added to the defensive cacophony, a sonic barrier against the unseen. But the arrival of Christianity in the region presented a problem. How could such a deeply rooted tradition be reconciled with the new faith? The solution was a classic act of rebranding. The church superimposed the feast day of Saint Walpurga, an 8th century English missionary nun credited with healing and protection, onto the existing pagan holiday. Yet, in a fascinating twist, the old fears did not vanish, they simply transformed. The very spirits the bonfires were meant to repel were now reimagined as witches. According to the new folklore, Walpurgisnacht became the night when witches from across the land would take flight on broomsticks, goats, and even distaffs, gathering on the Brocken, the highest peak in the Harz Mountains, for a wild, blasphemous Sabbath with the devil himself. This sinister reputation was immortalized in Gothe's Faust, cementing the Brocken as the epicenter of supernatural evil in the Germanic imagination. Today, the celebration is a vibrant tapestry woven from both these ancient threads. In Germany and throughout Scandinavia, communities still gather on April 30th for massive bonfires that light up the spring sky. The air is filled with the sound of firecrackers, church bells, and the blaring of horns, a direct echo of the noise-making meant to frighten spirits centuries ago. And in a delightful inversion of the old fear, people, especially children, now gleefully dress up as the very witches their ancestors dreaded. They wear long cloaks, paint their faces, and carry broomsticks, not in terror but in playful defiance. The festival has become a symbolic, joyful driving out of winter's last chill and the lingering darkness, both in the world and within ourselves. It is a night that perfectly captures the human impulse to confront our deepest fears, not with hiding, but with fire, laughter, and a brilliantly costumed parade. The spirit of joyful gratitude for the harvest finds one of its most precise and beautiful expressions in the heart of Tamil culture. Pongal is not merely a single event, but a 4-day symphony of thanksgiving, a celebration of the sun, the earth, and the animals that make life possible, with a history stretching back over 2,000 years. Its very name carries a double meaning, referring both to the festival and to its iconic culinary centerpiece, a dish of sweet rice boiled with fresh milk and jaggery, a type of unrefined cane sugar. The most anticipated moment of the entire celebration comes when this mixture is cooked in a new clay pot, often outdoors, and allowed to boil over. The family gathers to shout "Pongalo Pongal," a joyful cheer that welcomes this overflow as an auspicious symbol of abundance and prosperity, a literal spill of good fortune for the year ahead. The festival unfolds with a beautiful, deliberate rhythm, each day dedicated to a different facet of gratitude. It begins with Bogi, a day of renewal. Old household items, worn-out clothes, and any lingering negativity are gathered and burned in a ceremonial bonfire, symbolizing the discarding of the past to make way for the new. The heart of the celebration arrives on the second day, Thai Pongal. This is dedicated to Surya, the sun god. As the first light of the new month of Thai dawns, families prepare the Pongal dish, their offerings made to the sun with deep reverence for its life-giving energy. The third day, Matu Pongal, shifts the focus to the true partners in the harvest, the cattle. The cows and bulls, whose labor is indispensable to the farmer, are given a day of supreme honor. They are bathed, their horns are painted in vibrant colors and patterns, and they are adorned with garlands of flowers and gleaming bells. They are fed special treats, including the Pongal dish itself, as a heartfelt thank you for their year of hard work. The festival culminates on Kanam Pongal, a day for strengthening human bonds. People dress in their finest new clothes and visit the homes of relatives and friends, exchanging gifts and sweets, mending rifts, and reinforcing the social fabric of the community. In an age of rapid urbanization, Pongal remains the most important celebration for Tamils in southern India and Sri Lanka. The ancient rituals are not performed as museum pieces but as living, breathing traditions. In city apartments, the Pongal pot might boil on a balcony, and the cattle honoring might be a visit to a relative's village, but the essence is unchanged. It is a profound, multi-layered act of giving thanks, reminding everyone that prosperity is not a solitary achievement, but a gift woven from sunlight, soil, animal strength, and human connection. The stark contrast between Pongal's gentle gratitude and the next festival on our list could not be more dramatic. We return to the heart of ancient Rome, but this time in the bitter chill of February. The festival was Lupercalia, a ritual of such raw, primal energy that it makes Saturnalia seem almost tame. From February 13th to 15th, the city prepared for a spectacle centered on the Lupercal, the sacred cave at the foot of the Palatine Hill where the legendary founders Romulus and Remus were believed to have been nursed by a she-wolf. The ceremony began with the sacrifice of a goat and a dog. Goats represented sexuality and lust, while dogs symbolized purification. Their blood was the essential ingredient for what came next. Two young patrician men, members of the Luperci priestly order, were brought forward. A bloody knife was pressed against their foreheads, and then the blood was swiftly wiped away with wool dipped in milk. This act of symbolic death and rebirth was the trigger for chaos. stripped nearly naked, wearing only loincloths made from the skins of the sacrificed goats, the two young men grabbed thongs also cut from the same hides. Then they began to run. They sprinted through the main streets of the city, a wild, laughing mob following in their wake. As they ran, they struck any woman they encountered with the goatskin strips. Far from being an act of punishment, this was considered a powerful blessing. Roman women would willingly line up for it, even baring their hands and backs, believing the touch of the februar, these sacred thongs, would purify them and guarantee fertility and easy childbirth in the year to come. The entire city was swept up in a frenzy of life-affirming, chaotic noise. For centuries, this visceral public ritual was a fixed part of the Roman calendar. But as Christianity consolidated its power, the Church Fathers looked upon Lupercalia with horror. It was everything their new faith was not: public, pagan, and drenched in what they saw as barbaric superstition. In the 5th century, Pope Gelasius I finally put his foot down. He officially banned the festival. Yet he faced a problem familiar from our earlier stories. The people were deeply attached to their mid-February traditions. His solution was one of pragmatic rebranding. He declared February 14th the feast of Saint Valentine, superimposing a day for a martyred saint onto the old pagan date. The Church attempted to redirect the fervent energy of the people from physical fertility to spiritual love and devotion. The bloody knives and running priests were gone, but the ancient association between this time of year and matters of the heart, an association born in a cave with the slap of a goatskin thong, had already been etched into the cultural memory of Europe, waiting for poets and greeting card companies to rediscover it centuries later. While the bloody chaos of Lupercalia was being tamed into Valentine's Day, a very different kind of ritual was taking shape on the other side of the world, one designed to combat an invisible enemy. In the year 869, the ancient capital of Japan, Kyoto, was gripped by a terrifying plague. The people believed the epidemic was a manifestation of divine wrath, the work of angry spirits known as Goryo. In a desperate plea for purification and mercy, the emperor ordered a grand ceremony. 66 ceremonial spears, one for each province of Japan at the time, were erected at the Shinsen-en garden, and prayers were offered to the god of the Asoka shrine. This was the first Goryo-e, a ritual of appeasement that would evolve over more than 1,000 years into the magnificent spectacle we now know as Junmatsuri. What began as a desperate plea for survival has become one of Japan's most lavish and historic festivals, a month-long celebration that transforms Kyoto into a living museum. The heart of the festival and its most breathtaking moment is the Yamaboko Junko, the grand procession of floats on July 17th. These are not simple parade floats, they are moving mountains of art and history. There are two distinct types, each with its own character and purpose. The massive hoko floats are colossal, multi-storied structures that can weigh many tons and tower over the city streets. They are so immense they cannot be pushed or carried, but are instead pulled through the narrow lanes of Kyoto by teams of men straining on thick ropes. Each hoko is crowned by a single, enormous spear, a direct descendant of those 66 original purification spears. Then there are the Yama floats, smaller and more numerous but no less intricate. They are carried on the shoulders of teams of bearers who navigate the turns with practiced, shuffling steps. Both types are lavishly decorated with centuries-old tapestries, intricate wood carvings, and metalwork that gleams in the summer sun. Many of these priceless textiles are not Japanese, but historic imports from Persia, Belgium, and China, a testament to Kyoto's ancient role as a hub of global trade. This living tradition is not maintained by a city committee, but by the people themselves. For generations, the responsibility for building, maintaining, and parading each float has fallen to specific city districts and ancient families. These are not paid performers, they are merchants, craftsmen, and citizens who inherit this sacred duty. passing down the precise techniques for assembling the floats without a single nail, using only rope and traditional joinery. Their dedication preserves a craft that is itself a national treasure, and for a few precious days, the private world of these old merchant families opens to the public in a unique event called the Bamboo Matsuri, or Folding Screen Festival. To celebrate the procession, residents of the historic districts open their traditional wooden homes, removing the front walls to create a public gallery. Inside, they display their most prized family heirlooms, exquisite folding screens, finely woven kimono, and precious Buddhist statues that are otherwise hidden from view. It is a gesture of incredible generosity, a sharing of personal history that deepens the festival's meaning. The streets become a seamless blend of public spectacle and private heritage, where a towering float from the 9th century passes a home displaying a screen from the 17th. Jun Matsuri is far more than a parade. It is the soul of Kyoto, a city honoring its 1,000-year-old promise to keep its people safe, not through fear, but through an annual renewal of breathtaking beauty and shared community. That same full moon that guided Korean ancestors home for Chuseok holds a parallel power in China, where its brightest appearance of the year sparks a nationwide celebration of poetry, pastry, and profound family bonds. The Mid-Autumn Festival, often called the Moon Festival, draws its breath from an astonishingly ancient source, Shang Dynasty moon worship practices that began over 3,000 years ago. This timing is no accident, falling on the 15th day of the 8th lunar month when the moon is perfectly full, a luminous circle in the sky that has become the ultimate symbol of family reunion and completeness. The festival is deeply tied to the harvest, a time to give thanks for the earth's bounty, but its heart is captured in a single romantic legend that every Chinese child knows. The story tells of a beautiful archer named Hu Yi who saved the world by shooting down 9 of 10 scorching suns. As a reward, he was given an elixir of immortality. But his treacherous apprentice tried to steal it, forcing Hu Yi's devoted wife, Chang, to consume the potion herself to keep it safe. Upon drinking it, she found herself floating away from the earth, ascending to the moon, where she became the immortal moon goddess. She is said to reside there still, accompanied only by a jade rabbit who endlessly pounds the ingredients for the elixir of life. This tale of sacrifice and eternal separation is why the full moon is such a potent emblem of reunion, a night when families come together under the same glowing orb that holds the lonely Chang. The most iconic tradition is the sharing of mooncakes. These are not simple cookies, but rich, dense pastries with a thin, tender skin encasing wonderfully complex fillings. The most classic is sweet lotus seed paste, often cradling 1 or 2 salted duck egg yolks at its center, their golden color perfectly mirroring the full moon itself. The tops of these cakes are stamped with intricate, beautiful designs, sometimes featuring Chinese characters for longevity or harmony, or an image of the jade rabbit. To cut a mooncake and share its pieces with family is to perform an act of unity, a literal and symbolic sharing of the harvest sweetness. As dusk falls, another beautiful sight emerges, especially for children. Parks and gardens fill with the soft, colorful glow of lanterns. These are not the paper lanterns sent down a river, but bright, often elaborate handheld creations shaped like rabbits, goldfish, or butterflies, carried aloft on sticks as families stroll together under the moonlight. The entire evening is a gentle, sensory celebration, families gathering in courtyards or on balconies to sip tea, eat mooncakes, and simply admire the moon, an activity known as Shangyu. This festival has spread across East Asia, with variations in Vietnam, Korea, and Japan, but in China, it remains a non-negotiable pillar of the cultural calendar. In our era of frantic travel and dispersed families, the Mid-Autumn Festival triggers one of the largest annual migrations on Earth, as hundreds of millions of people make the journey home. No matter how modern life becomes, the pull of that perfect, round moon and the promise of a shared mooncake compel an entire nation to pause, look up, and reaffirm the most fundamental of all human connections. That same full moon that inspires family reunions in China ignites a different kind of hope in the mountains of northern Thailand. Here, the ancient Lanna kingdom tradition of Yi Peng transforms the night into a river of floating stars. While often celebrated alongside the more widespread Loy Krathong, where delicate baskets are set adrift on water, Yi Peng is a distinct celestial event. Its origins lie in a fusion of ancient Brahmanical beliefs and local Lanna spirituality, a ritual of release timed to the full moon of the 12th lunar month. The heart of the ceremony is the calm loy, a fragile, intricate balloon crafted from mulberry paper and a lightweight bamboo frame. At its base, a small wax fuel cell is lit, and as the hot air fills the paper sphere, it begins to tug against the hands that hold it. This moment is deeply personal and profoundly spiritual. Each lantern carries more than just hot air. It is loaded with the years' accumulated sorrows, its grudges, its bad luck, and its regrets. To release the calm loy is to physically let go, to watch your troubles become a tiny, flickering light drifting serenely into the vast, dark sky. The act of launching it is accompanied by a silent, heartfelt wish for the future, a new hope sent aloft on the very breath of the old year's release. When a single lantern is beautiful, the sight of thousands is nothing short of magical. In cities like Chiang Mai, the sky becomes an inverted ocean, a silent, slow-motion meteor shower of golden lights rising in unison. The collective gasp from the crowd is often the only sound, as every face turns upward, mesmerized by the sheer scale of this shared human longing. It is a breathtaking spectacle of collective catharsis, where the entire community participates in a visual symphony of forgiveness and renewal. In recent years, this ancient ritual has become a major draw for global travelers, all hoping to capture a piece of its ethereal beauty. While the commercial aspect has grown, the spiritual core remains unshaken for local Thais. For them, it is not a performance but a necessary purification, a way to start the new year with a lighter heart and a cleansed spirit. The sky filled with lanterns is not just a tourist photo, it is a map of 1,000 private prayers, a luminous testament to the timeless human need to release the past and reach for the light. The same moon that carries the lonely Chang oversees a night of ecstatic celebration for another divine birth. In the heart of India, when the monsoon rains begin to recede, the darkness of an August night is shattered by the sound of conch shells and joyous bells. This is Janmashtami, the annual festival celebrating the birth of Lord Krishna, a deity whose stories of divine love and playful mischief have captivated millions for millennia. His story begins in a prison cell in the ancient city of Mathura, a narrative preserved for over 5,000 years in sacred texts like the Bhagavata Purana. A tyrannical king, Kamsa, had imprisoned his own sister and her husband upon hearing a prophecy that their 8th son would be his destroyer. One by one, he killed their children, but when the 8th son, Krishna, was born, the gods intervened. The prison guards fell into a deep sleep, the chains broke, and the cell doors swung open, allowing the infant to be smuggled across the Yamuna River to the safety of a humble cowherd village. The festival reenacts this entire dramatic sequence with profound devotion. Devotees fast throughout the day, breaking their fast only at midnight, the precise moment believed to mark Krishna's miraculous arrival into the world. Temples and homes overflow with the sound of bhajans, devotional songs that recount his many adventures. The atmosphere is one of sleepless, joyful anticipation, a collective reliving of that divine night. But the celebration is not all solemn prayer. Krishna's childhood was filled with legendary mischief, and this playful spirit erupts into public spectacle. As a boy, he was notoriously fond of butter, often leading his band of friends to steal pots of curd and butter hung high from the ceilings of village homes to keep them out of reach. This single anecdote has blossomed into one of the festival's most thrilling and competitive events, the Dahi Handi. Primarily in the state of Maharashtra, teams of young men, known as Govindas, form towering human pyramids, straining to reach a clay pot filled with curd and yogurt suspended high above the street. The pot is often smeared with grease, making the climb even more perilous. The crowd below erupts in cheers and drumbeats, their energy fueling the climbers as they scramble over one another, a living, breathing monument to the god's own playful and persistent nature. When the topmost climber finally smashes the pot, drenching everyone below in a shower of curd and milk, it is more than just a game won. It is a reenactment of a divine victory, a communal sharing in the sweetness that Krishna so loved. From the quiet, personal fasts observed in homes to the roaring, athletic feats in the streets, Janmashtami is a festival of beautiful contrasts. It honors both the profound power of a god who could topple kings and the simple, endearing charm of a child who just wanted a taste of butter, keeping a 5,000-year-old story vibrantly, joyously alive. That same spirit of divine playfulness finds its global counterpart in a festival of pure, unapologetic excess. Carnival, the world's most famous pre-Lent celebration, wears its modern glitter like a mask, but its soul is ancient and pagan. Long before the Catholic Church established the 40 days of Lent, people across Europe were already holding wild spring festivals. They drew inspiration from Roman holidays we have already met, from the social inversion of Saturnalia to the primal, chaotic runs of Lupercalia. These were rites of feasting, masquerade, and the deliberate, temporary toppling of the social order, all designed to shake off the gloom of winter and welcome the returning sun. The very name Carnival whispers its original purpose. It likely derives from the Latin carn veil, meaning farewell to meat. This was a literal and symbolic goodbye to fleshly pleasures before a period of austerity. The medieval church, recognizing it could not eradicate such deeply popular traditions, made a strategic decision. It absorbed them, framing this period of sanctioned chaos as a final, massive blowout before the solemn fasting and reflection of Lent began. This act of incorporation gave the old pagan rites a new Christian calendar date, but it never stripped them of their essential energy. You can see this unbroken lineage in every major carnival celebration today. The breathtaking spectacle of Rio de Janeiro, with its samba schools and colossal floats, is a direct descendant of those ancient processions. The elaborate, mysterious masks of Venice, which once allowed nobles and commoners to mingle as equals, echo the role reversal of Saturnalia. The vibrant, chaotic street parties of New Orleans' Mardi Gras, with its own traditions of mock royalty and throne trinkets, channel the same spirit of misrule. Every sequin, every beat of the drum, and every masked smile is part of a continuum that stretches back thousands of years, a glittering testament to humanity's timeless need to lose itself in celebration before turning inward. Even as Carnival's masks are put away, a quieter but equally layered celebration arrives just 40 days after Christmas. Dia de la Candelaria, or Candlemas, falls on February 2nd, a date marked by the soft, hopeful glow of candlelight in churches across Spain and Latin America. On the surface, this is a deeply Catholic holiday. It commemorates the presentation of the infant Jesus at the temple in Jerusalem and the ritual purification of the Virgin Mary, a story told in the Gospel of Luke. The faithful bring their religious figures of the Christ child to be blessed, and the candles they carry symbolize Jesus as the light of the world. But if you dig just beneath this Christian surface, you find a much older soil. The date of February 2nd was sacred long before the Church claimed it. For the Romans, this was the time of the Februar Purification Festival, a time of cleansing and atonement that gave the month of February its name. Simultaneously, across northern Europe, the Celts were celebrating Imbolc, a crucial fire festival honoring the goddess Brigid. Imbolc marked the halfway point between the winter solstice and the spring equinox, a day to bless the seeds and celebrate the first faint stirrings of life as the earth slowly awakened. The Church, in its enduring strategy, did not erase these traditions. It simply relit them with a new meaning, transforming pagan bonfires into the blessed candles of Candlemas. Nowhere is this fusion more vibrant and personal than in Mexico. Here, Dia de la Candelaria is the delightful, flavorful culmination of the entire Christmas season. The connection is made weeks earlier on Three Kings Day, when families share a sweet, circular bread called the Rosca de Reyes. Baked inside the loaf is a small plastic figurine representing the baby Jesus. The person who finds this figurine in their slice is designated the godparent of the Christ child for the year. This is not just an honorary title, it comes with a delicious responsibility. On Candlemas, that lucky or perhaps chosen individual must host a feast for everyone who shared the bread. The menu is non-negotiable: tamales and atole. Tamales, made from masa dough steamed in corn husks, are a culinary tradition with ancient indigenous roots stretching back to the Aztecs. Atole, a warm, comforting drink made from corn masa, is similarly pre-Hispanic. So on this Catholic holiday, with a tradition sparked by a European king's cake, families gather to eat foods that are a direct gift from the Americas. The candlelight, the corn, the Christ child all exist in perfect, seamless harmony. It is a living, breathing example of syncretism, where indigenous, European, and Catholic traditions are not layered on top of each other, but are blended into a single, ongoing celebration that feeds both the soul and the stomach. The same candlelight that illuminates a family feast in Mexico casts a stark, brilliant glare on a beach halfway across the world. On the Indonesian island of Sumba, gratitude for the harvest is expressed not with quiet prayers, but with the thunder of hooves and the deadly arc of wooden spears. This is Pasola, a breathtakingly violent ritual rooted in ancient animist beliefs, where two tribes meet in a spectacular mock battle to ensure the earth itself remains fertile. For the Sambanese, this is not a sport, it is a sacred duty. The entire festival is a complex dialogue with the ancestral spirits, a plea for social harmony, and a bountiful rice harvest that hinges on a single, potent offering: human blood. Weeks before the clash, the air fills with a palpable, sacred tension. Tribal priests known as Roto begin the intricate process of determining the exact date. Their method is as old as the tradition itself. They read the omens in the Nayel, a type of sea worm that swarms along the coastline only once a year. The timing, size, and color of these worms are interpreted as direct messages from the ancestors, dictating when the ritual battle must commence to be most effective. When the day finally arrives, the atmosphere is electric. Hundreds of warriors, their bodies painted with traditional symbols, mount their rugged Sambanese horses. They are divided into two opposing teams, each representing a clan or village. The weapons they carry are wooden spears, their tips blunted to prevent fatal wounds, but they are far from safe. The objective is simple and terrifying: to charge directly at the opposing line at full gallop and hurl your spear with enough force and accuracy to draw blood. The sound is a deafening mix of pounding hooves, war cries, and the sickening thud of wood hitting flesh. Riders are frequently unhorsed, bones are broken, and serious injuries are a common, accepted part of the ritual. For the participants and the roaring crowds, every drop of blood that spills onto the dry, cracked earth is a blessing. It is a direct, visceral offering that is believed to seep into the soil and awaken its creative power, fertilizing the land for the coming planting season. In a single, chaotic, and beautiful moment, the violence of the warrior becomes an act of life-giving sacrifice. In our modern world, Pasola stands as a stunning, direct window into a warrior past. It is a vital, living pillar of Sambanese identity, where the spiritual and the physical, violence and fertility, are not opposites but two sides of the same sacred coin, ensuring the community's survival for another year. The raw, sacred violence of Pasola gives way to a gentler, though no less potent, magic under the endless Nordic sun. In Sweden, Finland, and Norway, the summer solstice is not just a celestial event, it is midsummer, a night when the sun refuses to set, painting the sky in soft, lingering hues of gold and pink. This is the lightest night of the year, and in ancient times people believed it was also the most enchanted. The veil between the human world and the realm of nature spirits was thought to be as thin as the twilight itself. This was not a time to fear the dark, but to harness the incredible power of a world flooded with light and life. The entire festival was built around this belief in nature's peak potency, a short, brilliant window for divination, for healing, and for communicating with the unseen forces that govern the forests and fields. Communities gathered to perform rituals that blended practical hope with deep pagan spirituality. Young women, in particular, held a special role in this magical night. One of the most beloved traditions involved venturing silently into the meadows and forests to collect 7 different types of wildflowers. Each flower had to be gathered without speaking a word, and once the bouquet was complete, it was carefully placed beneath the pillow before sleep. The silence and the specific number were crucial, believed to open a gateway to the future, compelling the dreamer to see a clear vision of the person they were destined to marry. It was a beautiful, personal act of fortune-telling, a quiet prayer for love whispered to the never-setting sun. The public celebration, however, was anything but silent. At the heart of every village green stands the iconic maypole, a tall, central mast crossed by a ring and draped in vibrant garlands of leaves and flowers. While its name might sound gentle, its origins are profoundly primal. The maypole is a classic phallic symbol, an ancient representation of masculine fertility raised high for all to see. The dances performed around it, with people weaving in and out, holding hands and wrapping the pole with long ribbons, are a symbolic enactment of the sacred union between earth and sky, a communal prayer for the land's fruitfulness and a bountiful harvest to come. As dusk finally begins to tint the perpetual daylight, another fire is lit, but this one serves a different purpose than those of Walpurgisnacht. These massive midsummer bonfires are beacons of protection. Their flames are meant to ward off any malevolent spirits that might wander freely during this thin night, ensuring the community's safety while they celebrate. The entire scene is a feast for the senses, the air filled with the scent of smoked fish and fresh dill on boiled new potatoes, the sound of traditional folk music, and the sight of everyone, especially the young women, wearing elaborate crowns woven from freshly picked wildflowers. Today, midsummer remains one of the most cherished holidays in the Nordic calendar, an official pause where entire countries seem to empty into the countryside. It is a joyful, light-filled party, yes, but its enduring power comes from that deep, unbroken connection to the natural world. In our modern age of electric light, midsummer draws people outside to bask in a different kind of illumination, to feel the ancient magic of a sun that will not say goodnight. The perpetual light of a Nordic summer stands in brilliant contrast to the explosive energy of a festival born from clay and devotion. In India, the birth of a god with an elephant's head and a child's heart brings entire cities to a standstill. This is Ganesh Chaturthi, a 10-day celebration for Lord Ganesha, the beloved deity of wisdom, new beginnings, and the remover of all obstacles. While its modern public form was championed in the 17th century by the Maratha ruler Shivaji to foster cultural unity, its devotional roots reach back over 2,000 years into ancient Hindu scriptures like the Rig Veda. The festival begins with a creation. Artisans spend months crafting magnificent idols of Ganesha, from small, simple clay figures for home altars to colossal, brilliantly painted statues towering several stories high. These idols are then ceremoniously installed in homes and in elaborate public pavilions called pandals, which spring up on every other street corner, transforming neighborhoods into temporary temples. For the next 10 days, these spaces thrum with life. The air grows thick with the scent of incense and the sound of devotional songs and chanting. Daily prayers, known as artis, are performed, with bells ringing and lamps being waved in front of the deity. And no offering is more important than modak, a sweet dumpling that is said to be Ganesha's absolute favorite. These steamed or fried treats, filled with jaggery and coconut, are prepared in vast quantities and offered to the god as a gesture of love and devotion before being distributed as blessed food or prasad to the community. But the true emotional peak of the festival arrives on the final day, a spectacle of both joy and sorrow known as Visarjan. This is the ritual immersion. With thunderous drumbeats and ecstatic cries of Ganpati Bappa Moria, meaning Father Ganesha, return soon, processions of thousands begin their slow, dancing march toward the nearest body of water, be it the ocean, a river, or a lake. Devotees carry their cherished Ganesha idols often on their shoulders in a final, joyful farewell. The belief is profound. The immersion symbolizes Ganesha's return to his celestial home, Mount Kailash, taking with him all the misfortunes and obstacles of his devotees. It is a physical enactment of a core spiritual principle, the cycle of creation, dissolution, and eventual rebirth. In a city like Mumbai, this climax is a sight of almost unimaginable scale. Millions of people pour into the streets, creating a river of humanity that flows toward the Arabian Sea. The energy is electric, a mix of fervent devotion and sheer, uncontainable celebration. In recent years, a beautiful evolution has taken root, reflecting a growing ecological consciousness. While traditional plaster of Paris idols polluted water bodies, there is now a massive push for green Ganeshas. These idols are made from unfired clay and natural, water-soluble paints, ensuring that the act of Visarjan harms neither the deity's symbolic home nor the physical environment. This adaptation shows a living tradition thoughtfully engaging with the modern world. The grand public spectacle, the intimate home rituals, and the mindful immersion all weave together, proving that an ancient devotion can not only survive in a bustling metropolis but can define its very rhythm, uniting millions in a shared, joyful plea for wisdom and a clear path forward. The thunder of sacred drums in Ghana carries a story of survival. The Ga people of Accra celebrate Homowo, a festival whose very name means to hoot or jeer at hunger. Its origins lie in a dark chapter, a great famine that plagued the ancestors centuries ago. Facing starvation, the people prayed intensely to their gods and ancestors for rain and a fruitful harvest. When the rains finally came and the crops flourished, their relief exploded into a celebration that has never ceased. This festival is a direct, defiant taunt aimed at the memory of hunger itself, a yearly reminder that their community endured. For an entire month, the air in Ga communities grows thick with anticipation. There are bans on noise making to allow for spiritual reflection, and rituals are performed to honor the dead and purify the town. But this quiet preparation builds toward an explosive climax, the Day of the Drums. On this day, the city of Accra transforms. The streets become a river of sound and color as rhythmic, non-stop drumming erupts from every corner. The beat is the festival's heartbeat, an irresistible call that draws everyone into the celebration. Chiefs and queen mothers, resplendent in full traditional regalia of vibrant Kent cloth and gleaming gold ornaments, lead grand processions through the neighborhoods. They are followed by priests and a joyous, dancing multitude. The energy is electric and deeply communal, a shared catharsis that shakes the very ground. At the heart of the celebration is the sharing of Kpokpoi, the sacred festival food. This is a special steamed maize meal prepared with palm oil and served with a rich soup. Families spend days preparing this dish, and on the festival day, they bring it out in abundance. It is served to every single person present, from the highest chief to the youngest child, and even to passing strangers. To eat Kpokpoi during Homowo is to participate in the harvest that broke the famine, to symbolically share in that ancient, life-saving bounty. This act of communal feeding reinforces the social bonds that ensured the people's survival. More than just a harvest thanksgiving, Hamowo is a powerful, living assertion of Ga identity and resilience. In a rapidly modernizing world, this ancient festival grounds a people in their history. Every drumbeat is an echo of their ancestors' perseverance, and every shared meal is a promise that as long as they remember and celebrate, hunger will never win. That same drumbeat of resilience finds its echo in the stars over Aotearoa, New Zealand. There, in the crisp winter sky just before dawn, a tiny, shimmering cluster of stars signals a new beginning. This is Matariki, the Maori New Year, a celebration anchored in one of the most ancient human sciences, celestial navigation. For the Maori, descendants of the greatest navigators in human history, the appearance of the Pleiades star cluster, known as Matariki, was a precise astronomical event. Its heliacal rising in late June or early July marked the end of one annual cycle and the start of the next. This was not just a date on a calendar, it was a vital signal for survival, dictating the time to harvest crops and plan for the next planting season. The festival itself was a deeply layered time of reflection, focused on three core pillars honoring those who had passed in the previous year, celebrating the community in the present, and planning for the future generations. It was a moment to look both backward and forward, guided by the stars that had guided their ancestors across the vast Pacific Ocean. Like so many indigenous traditions, the public observance of Matariki declined under the pressure of colonization, its flames reduced to embers. But those embers never went out, kept alive within Wanao, within families for generations. In a powerful act of cultural reclamation, the late 20th century saw a grassroots movement to reignite the festival, bringing it back into the public square. This revival culminated in 2022 when Matariki was officially declared a public holiday in New Zealand, a national recognition of its profound significance. Modern celebrations are a beautiful fusion of ancient knowledge and contemporary life. As the constellation rises, communities gather for pre-dawn ceremonies, their faces turned to the same stars their ancestors followed. They fly kites, a tradition believed to connect the people on the earth to the spirits in the heavens. The air fills with the rich, earthy aroma of a hangi, a feast cooked in a pit oven with heated stones, the steam-infused food representing a direct gift from the land. Stories are shared, the names of the departed are spoken with love, and new trees and crops are planted as a physical promise to the future. Matariki is more than a new year. It is a nationwide conversation with the past, a shared breath of remembrance and hope under the winter stars, ensuring that the ancestral wisdom of the sky continues to guide the steps of the people on the earth. While the women of Athens celebrated the public rites of the Thesmophoria, an even more profound secret was unfolding just a few miles away. For nearly 2,000 years, the most powerful spiritual experience in the ancient world was not found in a public temple, but in a secret hall in the town of Eleusis. These were the Eleusinian mysteries, initiation rites so sacred that to reveal their climax was a crime punishable by death. Their promise was the ultimate prize, a blissful existence in the afterlife, freeing initiates from the fear of a grim, shadowy underworld. This profound hope was rooted in the same myth that inspired the Thesmophoria, the story of Demeter and her daughter Persephone. Here, however, the myth was not just reenacted, it was personally experienced as a direct path to transcendence. The entire multi-day ritual was a carefully orchestrated journey of purification and revelation. It began in Athens with a solemn gathering in the Agora. Then, a massive procession of thousands began the 10-mile sacred walk to Eleusis. This was not a casual stroll, it was a physical pilgrimage. Initiates walked the very road Demeter was said to have wandered in her grief, creating a powerful empathy with the goddess. Upon reaching Eleusis, the rites intensified. A period of fasting began, mirroring Demeter's own refusal to eat or drink while she mourned. Then, the participants broke their fast by drinking a special barley potion called kykeon. This was a pivotal moment, a direct echo of the myth where the goddess broke her fast with a simple drink. Scholars have long debated the nature of this potion, some suggesting it contained a psychoactive element that opened the mind to visions, while others see it as a purely symbolic act of communion. The culmination of the festival occurred inside the Telesterion, the Great Hall of Mysteries. This was a massive, square building designed to hold thousands of people in absolute darkness. What happened inside those walls remains one of history's most tantalizing secrets. The initiates were sworn to silence, and not a single one ever broke that vow. We know only that it involved things said, things shown, and things performed. It was likely a powerful, multi-sensory drama using light, sound, and sacred objects to create an overwhelming experience of death and rebirth. Participants emerged from the Telesterion visibly transformed, filled with a serene confidence about their fate after death. This guaranteed hope is why the mysteries held such immense influence for centuries. Everyone from philosophers like Plato and Cicero to Roman emperors sought initiation. In a world of unpredictable fates, the mysteries offered a personal, guaranteed salvation. The rites were finally shut down by a Christian Roman emperor in the 4th century, and the secret died with the last initiates. Yet the themes they championed, the hope for life beyond death and the power of personal transformation, never faded. They represent the ultimate ancient mystery, a lost key to the human spirit that continues to fascinate us precisely because its final revelation is forever just out of reach. While ancient rituals called upon the sun and stars, a far more earthly root became the centerpiece of an extraordinary celebration. In the Mexican city of Oaxaca, the Christmas market on December 23rd is unlike any other in the world. The air is not just filled with the scent of pine and spices, but with the crisp, peppery smell of freshly cut radishes. This is the Noche de Rabanos, the Night of the Radishes, a festival born from a colonial seed that grew into a masterpiece of folk art. Its story begins not in a temple but in a garden. In the 18th century, Spanish monks arrived in the region and introduced a new vegetable, a type of large, fast-growing radish. Local farmers discovered that if they left these radishes in the ground a little longer, they would grow into bizarre, twisted, and wonderfully gnarled shapes. To attract customers at the annual Christmas Eve market, they began a playful tradition, carving these misshapen roots into small figures. What started as a clever sales tactic soon captured the public's imagination. The carvings grew more intricate, the scenes more elaborate, and in 1897, the city mayor formalized the creativity, establishing the first official competition. Now, every year on December 23rd, the main town square, the Zocalo, is transformed into a gallery of the ephemeral. Artisans, often entire families who have practiced the craft for generations, present their breathtaking creations. They work with specially cultivated radishes that can grow to the size of a child's arm, weighing several pounds each. Using only small knives, pins, and wire, they sculpt these humble vegetables into entire worlds. You will see entire nativity scenes with shepherds and wise men carved in astonishing detail, their faces expressive and their robes flowing. Other radishes depict scenes from Oaxacan folklore, like the dance of the feather, or moments from everyday life, with farmers tending to their fields or women grinding corn. The level of detail is staggering, from the individual feathers on an angel's wing to the woven pattern on a miniature basket. These are not simple carvings, they are transient sculptures destined to wilt and fade within a day. That is the poignant beauty of the Night of the Radishes. It is a celebration of art for art's own sake, a testament to the human drive to create something magnificent, even from the most temporary and unexpected of materials. While it may not be millennia old, this centuries-old tradition has woven itself into the very heart of Oaxaca's identity. It is a perfect fusion, a Spanish vegetable transformed by indigenous and mestizo hands into a uniquely Mexican celebration that marks the beginning of Christmas with a quiet, earthy wonder. The raw, primal energy of a Viking longship burning against a winter sky is not a scene from 1,000 years ago, but a living tradition in the remote Shetland Islands. Every January, the town of Lerwick erupts in a spectacular, fiery pageant known as Up Helly Aa. While the festival as it is celebrated today was formally established in the 1880s, its soul is forged from a much older fire. It is a direct revival and reshaping of the ancient Yule traditions that once dominated these Norse-held isles, a deliberate and passionate reconnection to a heritage that runs as deep as the North Sea itself. For the local men who participate, the festival is a year-long labor of love. They organize themselves into tightly knit groups called squads, spending months crafting intricate, themed costumes, building props, and rehearsing comic acts and songs for the main event. This is not a performance put on for tourists. It is a profound community endeavor, a thread that weaves through the entire social fabric of Lerwick during the long, dark winters. The grand spectacle begins as dusk falls on the last Tuesday of January. The streets are plunged into an eerie darkness, broken only by the flickering torchlight of nearly 1,000 geysers. These are the costumed participants, a massive, silent army waiting for the signal. At their head stands the geyser Jarl, the festival chief, a man who has earned this honor through decades of dedicated service to the Up Helly Aa committee. For this one night, he is transformed into a Viking warlord, clad in authentic-looking armor and furs, his identity kept secret until the day of the procession. He and his Jarl squad stand proudly beside a magnificent, hand-built replica of a Viking longship, a vessel created for a single, glorious purpose. The procession is a mesmerizing, almost hypnotic march through the steep, cobbled streets of the town. The only sounds are the crunch of boots on stone and the crackle of 1,000 flaming torches held aloft. The snake of fire wins its way down to a designated park where the geysers form a circle around the waiting longship. Then, on a command, a haunting Viking ballad rings out, sung by 1,000 voices in unison. It is a moment of collective power and solemnity, and then comes the climax. One by one, the geysers step forward and hurl their torches into the ship. The dry timber and tar-soaked structure catches instantly, the flames leaping high into the black sky. Within minutes, the longship is a roaring inferno, a brilliant, terrifying beacon of heat and light. This burning is far more than a dramatic finale. It is a profound, symbolic act. It is a funeral pyre for the Viking age, a ceremonial send-off to the long, dark winter, and a communal burning away of the old year's gloom. As the last embers of the ship die away, the mood shifts from solemn ritual to boisterous celebration. The squads of geysers then embark on a unique all-night marathon, visiting over a dozen halls across the town. At each stop, they perform their rehearsed act, be it a comedy sketch, a dance, or a song for the audiences inside. They are welcomed with food and drink, and this circuit continues until the sun rises the next morning. Up Helly Aa is a powerful demonstration that a tradition does not need to be millennia old to be authentic. It is a consciously created festival, born in the 19th century, yet it burns with the fierce, ancient spirit of the Norse ancestors who first settled these wild islands. It is not a reenactment of a specific historical event, but a living, breathing, and brilliantly fiery expression of cultural identity that refuses to be forgotten. The future of an entire kingdom can rest on the appetite of 2 oxen. In the heart of Cambodia, an ancient ceremony unfolds that binds the modern monarchy directly to the fate of the land. This is the royal ploughing ceremony, or Pith Ikrat Pri Ning Call, a ritual so vital it has been celebrated since the time of the Inca Empire, with roots reaching even deeper into ancient Hindu traditions. It marks the official start of the rice-growing season, a moment when the entire nation's hope for a bountiful harvest is placed not in a forecast but in a sacred act of divination. The ceremony is a breathtaking spectacle of timeless precision. On a specially prepared field within the royal palace grounds, the king or a high-ranking Brahmin priest takes hold of a ceremonial wooden plough. A pair of magnificently decorated oxen are yoked to it, and together they trace a series of perfect furrows in the sacred earth. This is not merely a symbolic gesture. It is a powerful reenactment of the first ploughing, a performance meant to awaken the soil's fertility and remind everyone from farmer to politician that all prosperity begins with this fundamental act. The true moment of prophecy comes next. The oxen are led to 7 golden trays, each filled with a different offering. There is rice and corn, beans and fresh grass, water and wine, and sesame seeds. The entire crowd holds its breath. The oxen are free to eat whatever they choose, and their selections are interpreted as a direct message from the spirits of the land. If they eat the rice or corn, it foretells an excellent grain harvest. Choosing the beans or sesame signals a good yield for other crops. Eating the grass suggests livestock will flourish, while drinking the water predicts sufficient rains. If they should eat the wine, however, a hush of concern falls, as this is an omen of instability, crime, or danger in the year ahead. In an age of satellites and scientific agriculture, this ancient ritual retains immense cultural power. Broadcast across the nation, the ceremony is watched intently by millions of farmers who still look to the palace for this traditional forecast. It is a living bridge connecting the highest authority in the land to the most essential human labor. The ritual affirms that the king's legitimacy is inextricably tied to the people's well-being and the earth's generosity, a promise of prosperity literally rooted in the soil. From the burning of a Viking longship to the quiet blessing of an oxen's appetite, these 30 festivals share a common genetic code. They are not random relics, but brilliant, time-tested solutions to the fundamental challenges of being human. Across continents and centuries, we find the same deep needs being answered in spectacularly diverse ways. The most powerful of these is our innate desire to mark time, not by the cold numbers on a calendar, but by the grand, living cycles of the world around us. We built Stonehenge to capture a solstice sunrise, and we still gather at Cusco's ancient stones to call back the sun at Inti Raymi. We dance under the never-setting sun of midsummer and light lanterns for the darkest night at Yi Peng. These celebrations root us in a cosmic rhythm, reminding us that we are part of a universe far greater than our daily concerns. They answer our fear of the dark and our gratitude for the light with fire, song, and collective hope. Another unbroken thread is the profound need to connect with those who came before us. We are a species that remembers. The Japanese meticulously clean ancestral graves for Obon, setting a place at the table for returning spirits. In Korea, millions travel home for Chuseok to share a meal with their lineage, both living and departed. The Mexican ofrenda is not a shrine of grief, but a vibrant welcome for soul's annual visit. These rituals forge a chain of memory, giving us a place in a story that began long before we were born and will continue long after we are gone. This act of remembrance provides a powerful anchor in a rapidly changing world. Then there is the universal urge for purification and renewal. We feel the weight of the past year, its mistakes and its misfortunes, and we crave a clean slate. The colored powders of Holi literally coat participants in a new identity, washing away social hierarchies and personal grudges. The Thais unleash a nationwide water fight during Songkran, believing every splash cleanses bad luck. Even the quiet, personal act of spring cleaning for Nowruz is a ritual of making space for new blessings. These festivals offer a sacred reset button, a chance to let go of what no longer serves us and step into the future unburdened. And perhaps the simplest yet most vital thread is the raw human need for joy and community. In a world that often demands isolation and stoicism, these festivals command us to come together. The masked chaos of carnival, the thunderous drumming of Hamowo, the shared sweetness of a mooncake all break down the walls we build between ourselves. They create a temporary world where everyone is equal under the rainbow of Holi or the drenching waters of Songkran. They are a societal pressure valve, a sanctioned period of laughter, dance, and feasting that reinforces the bonds that hold a community together. What is truly remarkable, however, is not just their survival but their flexibility. These traditions are not fragile artifacts locked in a museum case. They are living, breathing entities with a stunning ability to adapt. When Christianity spread, it did not simply erase Saturnalia, it absorbed it, and we now call it Christmas. The Aztec month of the dead gracefully condensed into the Catholic Dia de los Muertos. The pagan fires of Walpurgisnacht were rebranded with a saint's name, and the ancient Roman Lupercalia was transformed into a day for greeting cards and chocolates. This is not a sign of weakness, but of immense strength. It proves that the core human needs these festivals address are so powerful that they can wear the clothes of any era, any religion, and still retain their essential soul. They are the cultural DNA of humanity, a genetic code for celebration that is passed down, not through our blood, but through our shared stories, our dances, and our collective memory. They remind us that while empires rise and fall and technologies become obsolete, our need to come together under the same moon, to give thanks for the harvest, to honor our ancestors, and to find joy in each other's company is truly eternal. From the raucous role reversal of Roman Saturnalia to the serene starlight of Maori Matariki, we have witnessed 30 living threads in the grand tapestry of human celebration. This incredible journey reveals an unbroken line connecting our modern parties to the rituals of our deepest past. Our ancestors, just like us, felt the primal urge to push back the winter darkness with light, to welcome the spring with open arms, and to honor the cycle of life and death with feasts and remembrance. They were not so different, these people from thousands of years ago. They too sought joy in community, meaning in the cosmos, and a way to mark their brief, beautiful time beneath the sun and stars. These festivals are more than just traditions. They are a shared genetic code for celebration, passed down through countless generations. The next time you carve a pumpkin for Halloween, share a mooncake with your family, or simply wish someone a happy new year, remember that you are participating in a story that spans millennia. I encourage you to look into the history of your own local holidays and traditions. You might be stunned by the ancient mysteries hidden within your community's most cherished celebrations, waiting to be rediscovered. Let us know in the comments if there is an ancient festival you celebrate or one from your culture that holds a special story. And if you enjoyed this journey through time, subscribe for more explorations into the fascinating echoes of history that still shape our world today.